All right, welcome everybody to the comic panel. I'm Cody,
I'm Talon.
And I'm Shawenta.
and today we are covering Age of Bronze, the story of the Trojan War, Volume 1, 1,000 Ships, written and drawn by Eric Shanower, colored by John Dallaire, and published by Image Comics. And so yeah, as the title suggests, this is a comic adaptation trying to combine from multiple sources the history of the Trojan War in story form. It combines aspects of the Iliad from Homer, Shakespeare's Troilus and Cressida, as well as like archaeology from the Bronze Age. I think also it said somewhere in here that it took some of the plays and poems of Sappho. Sappho. That's how you say her name.
I missed that.
Sappho.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was in the forward.
It was in the forward.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was like 2 days ago. So.
But yeah, and Eric Shanower,
Which is just impressive that he created, written, and did the art for.
yeah.
He tried to be as historically accurate as he could, right?
Right. Yeah. He did a lot of research into the hairstyles, clothing, like all what people would be doing, that kind of stuff, to make it as accurate as possible. As far as his work that he's done, he first worked on Oz graphic novels, the Enchanted Apples of Oz, the Secret Island of Oz, the Ice King of Oz, the Forgotten Forest of Oz.
Are you trying to tell me that there is like Oz, like comic books, like?
Yeah, it's a public domain thing, so
there's so many.
Yeah,
I have been missing out. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, there's a lot to choose from, so there's probably a lot of variety too.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, that was released by First Comics and Dark Horse Comics between 1986 and 1992. And then worked on more stuff in the world of Oz. Actually, I'm surprised. Like at first I thought it was gonna like move on to other works, but it's like there's a whole just like paragraph of working on, adaptations of Wizard of Oz and such. He wrote the comic series Little Nemo Return to Slumberland for IDW.
That has nothing to do with Nemo, right?
No.
It has to do with the iconic Nemo from comics.
Yes. the
I don't actually know
newspaper comic strip written and illustrated by Winsor McKay.
Huh.
The creator of modern American animation.
Huh. I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. And then he started working on Age of Bronze in 1991.
That became his life.
Yeah. He is still not finished, I believe. Wait, maybe not. Wow. 7 volumes in their entirety will cover the complete story. I think that there's 4 volumes out, and there's supposed to be 7. Okay, I'm glad I wasn't.
Wow.
Yeah.
This dude. I mean, putting in the research. I appreciate it.
He's halfway.
Yeah.
More than halfway. Good job, dude.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's hard. He's also drawn a number of one-shot comics. He did Ed Brubaker's Prez Smells Like Teen President for DC Comics.
Huh, really?
And An Accidental Death, also written by Brubaker, published by Fantagraphics. He's illustrated the Elsewhere prints, based on the characters created by the French cartoonist Moebius. His work has appeared in magazines throughout the U.S. and Europe, as well as in books and on TV.
We read Prez, right?
Yeah, we did read Prez. I
Was
don't
that
know
the
if
virus?
Well, I don't know if we read Ed Brubaker's Prez though, because
Yeah, that's definitely different.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is just for the general character Prez, but
Okay.
yeah, the 1995 one shot
Okay.
by Ed Brubaker.
Yeah, then I
Yeah.
don't think
We
I
did-
don't think that was it.
We did the Mark Russell
Oh,
Prez
okay.
from 2015.
Gotcha.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's a little bio on the creator of Age of Bronze.
Dude, that picture from 2007 makes him look really young, and I'm just like, but he's 60.
Yeah, he's 60.
Man, 20 years makes a difference. No, not even 20 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
You haven't even seen him yet.
I mean, that's fair. Maybe he looks like a 40-year-old
Yeah.
when he's 60. So, that's fair.
Yeah. No,
It's hard researching every single hairstyle or drawing every single line for this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's a good point. When do you think this series is going to be finished?
He's 60.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
You don't get faster at that age.
Yeah, it's like from 91 to 2023. That's 30 years.
Yeah.
Um,
32.
Halfway.
32 years. So,
Wow. So that means just 32 more years.
yeah, when he's in his 90s.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, you hire an artist, and then you're the writer.
I would say sketch it all out, make someone else ink it.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. He's done a lot of research already, so the hope would be that, a lot of the research could be carried over.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't have to constantly re-research certain things.
Very true. Also, I just saw he won an Eisner Award in 2001, 2003, 2010, 2011, and
Wow.
2015.
Wow.
Sense.
Yeah.
Was it for this?
Let's see here. Best writer artist. Let me see if it says any more.
For the Age of Bronze, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, does it say that?
Yeah, right before the 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
Outstanding artist in 1999.
But that's the Ignatz Award.
Oh, okay.
Not
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is still a prestigious award,
Yeah.
too.
So the Ignatz Award for Outstanding Artist in 1999
Mhm.
for this.
Yeah. I'm gonna assume, yes, that it is for this, but also it doesn't even... Yeah, this Wikipedia page is just not totally complete.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess, yeah.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Yeah, 2001 and 2003. Yeah. Okay, so the other...
He probably wasn't working on anything else at the time.
yeah.
Yeah.
The other ones maybe were not. The other awards were not awarded for Age of Bronze, but the 2001 and the 2003 one were.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
And so we read the first volume.
First
Mhm.
volume, yeah, and it takes us from the days of Paris being a cow herder
Mhm.
on an island. I don't remember its name.
Ida.
Ida, thank you. All the way up to the launching of ships for the Trojan War to begin.
Mm-hmm. Humble
There are no
beginnings.
descriptions.
Yeah, so this is very much the just kind of the inciting events basically, and we
Mhm.
get all of our characters, introduced, our most
All of our
important.
characters.
Yeah, not all of our characters, you're right. But a lot of
But
important
man, there's
ones.
a lot of characters.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, a lot of names, a lot of characters.
Yeah. The important ones being Paris and
Achilles.
Achilles.
Yeah.
Agamemnon.
Odysseus. Yeah.
Odysseus.
Helen.
Yeah.
She's around.
Yeah.
She's around, yeah.
So you guys have you've been exposed to the Trojan War, stories, the Iliad, and all that
Yeah.
the Iliad, yeah.
before that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read the Odyssey in high school, which obviously, you need the Iliad for some context,
Yeah.
at least to know kind of what happened.
Yeah. And same. Read the Iliad and the Odyssey in high school. So
I only
it's been a
vaguely
bit.
remember stuff.
Right. I probably forgot more about it than I remember it. So
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like I knew like at least a bit. It was interesting reading actually in the afterword that like the Shanawar, he basically was like, yeah, you know, it was only after I had read or listened to this audiobook, you know, about the book was like from the Trojan War to the Vietnam War.
oh yeah.
And he was like, yeah, it was after listening to that I even realized like what a big deal the Trojan War was. Because before then I just kind of, and he even said that like when he later went back and read the Iliad, it was like, oh, this doesn't even really have the whole story.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have the giant horse.
No. Yeah.
Which that surprised me actually.
Yeah. I didn't remember.
I was like,
It's like
he doesn't even have the giant horse. Like that's the
right. Oh yeah, I remember Achilles and Agamemnon,
mm-hmm.
but yeah.
See, I don't think I've ever read stuff that had that much of a focus on Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the Iliad did.
No, I would believe that that's more believable to me that Paris was more of like mentioned in the Iliad, but yeah.
So Paris, the conniving womanizer.
Yeah, it's really hard.
They're all kind of womanizers.
Yeah, they are. It's really hard, like, because you know we start with him in the story, and so it's like you almost want to root for him for a second, and then you're like, man, you kind of suck.
Yeah.
It says like he's our introduction to the world. He's our vehicle. Like we get introduced to stuff because Paris needs to be introduced to stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, he does make for a good kind of that character, especially like going from being, as they call him, a bumpkin to being in royalty. He's like, hey, what's going on? It's like, yes, yeah. I also wonder what's going on.
Yeah. So yeah,
he's a cowherder. The king's men come to his family and are like, we heard you have a great cow, a bull, a white bull. And the king wants to use it as a prize for whoever wins the games in 3 days. And Paris freaking tries to beat them up because he doesn't want them to take it so that they, his family can sacrifice it to the gods.
Right. So that's the problem, and Paris comes to solve it.
He goes, well, he gets rightfully beaten. And then his dad's like, please don't kill him. He's my only son. Also, dark secret.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. But Paris goes off, plays with his nymph friend. She gets pregnant.
Wait, did she? I forgot that.
Yeah. She got pregnant.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Paris is also like, by the way, I'm going to go win the game so I can get our white bull back.
Yeah.
And then leaves immediately.
Yeah, which, I mean, how discouraging. You have this, like, supernatural dream that you try to tell your partner about, and your partners are like, yeah, sure, whatever, I'm going. It's like...
That's the entirety of the story, right? Yeah. Everybody's like, I think something horrible is going to happen. And everybody's like, yeah, but I don't want it to.
Right.
Shut up.
We live in this world where we believe in oracles, but nah.
Yeah.
Only when they're saying what we want them to say.
Exactly, man. Oh.
So Paris goes to Troy for the first time with his dad. He kind of has to elbow his way into the games because they keep turning him away.
Right.
So he's a country bumpkin.
So his plan is to compete in the games to win the bull back.
Yeah. And he ends up winning the boxing match.
By surprise.
At the last.
Yeah.
And then he gets challenged to a racing game, and I think he wins. But the princes like don't want to be shown up by this commoner. Country commoner also. So yeah, even though he wins the racing game, they're still really annoyed at him until it comes out he's the son of the king.
Right. Which his name is
the king, or
the king is
Prius?
Priam?
Priam, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Priam.
Hey, he's the king of Troy.
Mm-hmm.
The dude.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like a sad scene, you know, when like finally it's like, okay, well, now the secret is out, so you have to live as the king's son.
Oh yeah, bye dad.
Bye dad. Yeah.
That was a really nice moment.
Yeah.
But then he seems to quickly forget it. So
what's he gonna
moves
do?
on.
Leave from being a prince?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
There's not herding cows and sleeping.
I mean, I guess if there was an indication in his character of like, I don't want to be here, maybe it would make more, not necessarily more sense, but I guess.
Yeah.
His main goal was to bring, fame and fortune to his family, but then who his family is changes.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, like his dad said, you were given to me because it was foreseen that, you needed to be killed as a child.
But then a bear saved you.
She-bear
saved you.
I left you to die, and then you got suckled by a bear, which was really nice of the bear.
Yeah.
So I decided that it meant you had to live, and so I raised you as my own.
Oh, that is such a gross image in my mind.
You're gonna hate how Rome was started.
Wait, Rome wasn't built in a day? Anyway.
Yeah.
Things get pretty politically complicated from there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to say too that like, yeah, I think that there could have been an opportunity for Paris to like, feel more about having to leave his family, that he's known and that stuff, but I think that this book just has so much to do, It's like it's not the story of Paris, it's the story of the Trojan War, so it's just like
5 seconds someone new is introduced.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's why,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then we get introduced to the kind of inciting incident, I guess, where one of Priam's sons comes back from...
This Priam's sons, Hector.
Hector.
Yeah.
Yes. He comes back from a trip to Salamis, I think.
Yes.
To try and get Priam's sister back to Troy. And Salamis is part of Cyprus, so the Achaean people.
Mm-hmm.
And so, basically, I forgot her name. His Priam's sister was like, wait, people still remember me? And she was like, nah, I'm cool here. You just chill.
Well, also, she was taken as a trophy of war, kind of.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And she used her gold veil to save Priam's life when he was pretty young. He wasn't even an adult yet.
Yeah.
And she told him, once you get strong again, once Troy is rebuilt, come back for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been so many years.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Hector's like, I'm not sure if she's being intimidated by the people she's being kept by. She's a slave there. Why would she want to stay?
Mm-hmm.
We could just talk to her alone, but they wouldn't even let us see her alone.
Yeah.
Because they think we're going to abduct her. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Paris is like, why don't we abduct her then?
That's a fair point.
If she wants
No, it's
go...
not abduct. It's liberate.
Yeah.
He said abduct, and then he said, liberate.
Yeah.
And it is funny. They're just like, yeah, if she doesn't want, if she was telling the truth, we'll just let her go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we'll kidnap her first.
Honestly, understanding more about how humans behave, they'd probably just lock her up somewhere. They wouldn't let her go. It's like, clearly his mind games have poisoned your brain.
Yeah. I mean, there is Stockholm Syndrome, so...
yeah, that's true.
But yeah, tough to say.
So, yeah, Paris comes up with the idea to just sneak in, and they're like, "Oh, brilliant idea! Who would do that?" And Paris is like, I guess I could." And they're like, "Great."
He doesn't even sneak in.
Well, I mean, okay, that's fair.
He's like, "I'm staying here now." They're like, "Ugh, I hate this dude. I'm gonna go to my dad's funeral, so I can just ignore him."
I'm sorry, what? I don't remember that.
Yeah, the king. I'm forgetting the king's name, but he's the one married to Helen. He's talking to Helen. He's like, "I'm gonna leave for my dad's funeral because this is a great excuse to not have to deal with Paris. He better be gone when I come back."
Man, I don't remember that.
It was when Helen was having her whole overcome with lust.
That was definitely very confusing to me because I was like, when did this happen?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Comes out, Helen just can't stand it. She really likes Paris, and Paris is like, "I know why. It's because I did that golden apple tournament between the goddesses."
Oh, because somehow Helen knew who Paris was. I that was the most confusing thing anyway. I was like, when did that happen?
Yeah. It was literally, so to kind of clarify what the golden apple tournament was.
Yeah.
The gods were having a feast. There was a golden apple, and it was supposed to be for the fairest of the goddesses.
And this is where we get Snow White, but
No.
Yeah. Well, it's just a regular apple at that point, and then the fairest of them all, like, it's obviously that.
Not everything is Disney, Taylor.
Anyway,
yeah. So, basically Hera, Athena, and
well, they say the mother, and then, but is that
yes, yeah?
Oh, I did not catch
Hera
that at all.
Hera is the mother, right?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Nope.
Yeah, the goddess of motherhood and wifery and
okay.
She had most of them.
Yeah. And then so her, Athena, and Aphrodite.
Yes. And of course, our boy Paris. You know what he picks?
Yeah.
Well, they each offer him something.
Yes.
Yeah. To never lose in battle, the other things, and then Aphrodite's one is like, "You'll be loved by the most beautiful person ever."
Yeah.
Well, lady.
Yeah. I honestly, I kind of want to be like, obviously, I'd pick war, but
okay, Taylor, same.
But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know.
You have to already be a little wise to pick wisdom, and that is not Paris's strongest suit.
That's fair.
I don't remember what Hera offers, but I felt like that one was probably the right choice. But at the same time, I think that there's also an implied, at least in other, not necessarily in this book, but in other tellings I've heard, that there's the implication that Paris could make no correct choice. Picking
I think
one.
It kind of is the monkey paw situation where no matter which one you choose, there's going to be horrible drawbacks.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, imagine you just go around your day, people see you and they're like, "Man, he wins at fights. I want to pick a fight with him." And then all of a sudden you got a trail of bodies behind you.
A story.
Yeah.
I should write a story.
You
always win at battle.
But
Dang
yeah,
it.
so therefore, suddenly Helen is just overcome because she is the most beautiful woman in Greece, possibly the world. And she's just overcome. She's like, "There's this guy, Paris. I've never met him, but now I'm in love with him."
Mm-hmm.
And then
kind of rude to her, but she can't help it.
Yeah. Yeah, it does seem like she's like, "I'm kind of going crazy." Like, she's talking to her slave, who is also the mom of Theseus, which was like surprising.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, okay.
How the tables have turned.
Yeah.
Because Theseus stole her as a kid.
Right. Yes. Stole Helen.
It's weird.
Yes.
It's because that's Priam's sister.
No.
The slave.
Oh.
The old lady.
No. That's Hesione. is his I just remembered. Hesione is Priam's sister.
Huh.
Yeah. So literally Paris is there and he could do what he set up to do, but he's just
okay, but that would make sense because when he took Helen, people kept asking him, who is this woman? This doesn't look like Hesione. Where's Hesione?
Yeah.
And I was like, why do you keep asking that question? Hesione is in Salamis, not Lacedaemon. Like, that's where they're at. And I'm like, I don't, what do you mean? I don't know why you guys think that.
Actually, the smart thing of never paying attention to location.
Okay, yeah. This is making more sense now, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's like, I can't start a new life again, Helen. And Helen's like, I can't help it. I gotta go.
So then he did accomplish his mission. If that was Hesione.
No,
we never
I don't
see him get there.
Yeah, I think that because he has, what we didn't say too, is that he has a conversation with Hector before he leaves, and he basically says what he's going to do. He's like, I think I should just steal a young princess, and yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And Hector's like, no, that sounds...
Hector's like, please think of the political implications of everything you do.
Because I didn't catch...
Paris is like, I am.
I didn't catch this at first, but Helen's husband is like Menethellus or something like that. Mm-hmm. Not that's not his name, but we'll say that for right now. And Priam and that dude just had a peace treaty. And so it took me a second read to understand that, to remember that. And so it's like, oh, he just stole his wife. When you just signed a peace treaty, that is not going to go over well. I mean, even if they didn't, it wouldn't go over well, but
exactly.
Even more so.
Yeah. But yeah, so against everybody's better judgment, Paris steals Helen. They run off together. He has all of his men also loot.
Ransack.
Yeah. Well, that was how they were gonna sneak in. Was just the distraction.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
We did it already.
Yeah.
Might as well take it all.
Yeah, I mean, he also was like, what, you think that, like, you know, I need to be able to provide for you. I can't pay for all this stuff.
Oh, yeah, right.
Like,
Right.
Geez, that doesn't make it right.
I want to emphasize that, you know, Helen took a child and left a child.
Okay, well, she leaves Hermione.
She leaves her own daughter.
Her oldest child, because she says that, you know, even if she leaves the king, you know, she's got to leave him, you know, the next in line.
Is that it?
Everybody. That's the reason she gives.
I thought it was she's 9. She could take care of herself.
She gives both reasons.
and then takes the youngest, whose name escapes me at the moment, but I don't know.
I mean, that's the son, so, you know.
Oh, wait, hold up now.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure in this,
in their society, they do value
men.
Yeah,
having a boy.
So you actually don't have anyone.
Whatever.
You don't actually have anyone to give your inheritance to, if it's just a woman. That's my understanding.
Yeah, more or less. You know, they can have grandchildren.
Yeah.
Grandsons.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so I guess in that, they give it to their son-in-law.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's ideal for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where were we though? She leaves.
Well, I mean, she goes with Paris.
Mm-hmm. She goes with Paris. Yeah, and then we get introduced to Achilles. I think around then.
Achilles' mom.
Yeah, Achilles' mom. You're right.
Was it Tethys or Thetis? Thetis, I think.
It's just like she's one of the top sea nymphs, right?
Yes.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That word to me just seems wrong. Like
nymph?
Yeah. Is there a
historical word?
It is and it has nothing to do with
no,
okay. Okay.
Wait,
it's like a fairy.
Okay.
Okay.
Why are you guys talking around something? I'm not picking up the other context. I only.
All right, that's fine.
There's bugs. There's bugs that are nymphs too.
Yeah, Taylor, leave the bugs alone.
Cody, I wish I had as clean a mind as yours.
Poor bugs.
So, okay, so...
But yeah, Taylor, it's pretty much the same as fairy.
Okay, all right. I still don't think I'm going to say it, but, we'll leave it at
that. But yeah, so, Achilles' mom goes, she has to leave her group of sea nymphs. She goes and visits, Chiron, at Mount...
This is not to be confused with the horse.
No, it is to be confused with the...
Never mind.
The centaur. He is a centaur.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a centaur.
A centaur, I know. They spelled it with a K.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Couldn't
funny.
get over that.
Yeah, I did think
it was enough to throw me off.
I was just like, you are Ken enough. Yeah, they chose in this to downplay a lot of the magical elements. So Chiron does not have the body of a horse, as centaurs are generally.
Really hairy.
Yeah, he is really hairy.
Yeah. That part, check.
But yeah, so
and he has been training young Achilles for a while now.
Yes.
It's been training him in hunting and so forth, but Achilles is getting too good.
Yep.
Yeah, and also it's just time. His mom knows, it's time.
Because the dream she had led her onto this.
Yes, yeah.
So the fact that, she sent him away like that, despite his dad being someone pretty important, because that whole prophecy for Achilles, he has two paths. He can live a long, wonderful life that is without, any real glory. It's kind of unassuming. Or he can live a short, glory-filled life where he dies on the battlefield.
Yeah. Now I can understand the dilemma there, but I think unfortunately the short, glory-filled life is the better option.
You thought you were going to say the opposite, Taylor.
Yeah.
No.
Interesting.
I'm a little bloodthirsty today.
It more has to do with, are you living a life worth living?
Yeah,
I think you just don't want to be a nobody.
That's fair.
Yeah, it is interesting the way that the book presents, the two options and Achilles, obviously Achilles interpretation of those, and then also you could, I feel like everybody kind of has that, option, and not literally, but in some ways you can be notable, but also have a short life, or you can just keep your head down and
I think it's the folly of youth to believe that there's those two options only.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, the old...
You're only one or the other.
Yeah
So silly.
I think it comes down to are you satisfied? So if you want to live a long life where you are notable but you're happy with that, right?
Yeah.
For God's to see it.
Yeah, but so basically, Achilles' mom takes him. They go off sailing. Achilles is not really happy about leaving Chiron. He was living life that he enjoyed,
Yeah. It was filled with adventure. I mean, he caught a cheetah, not a cheetah.
Not a cheetah. It was a
lion cub or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, he killed the mom.
Yes.
Yeah. Killed the mom.
Which, to be fair, is kind of the lowest. He could have at least killed the male.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's fairly cruel.
Just kind of mean.
Yeah. Especially no intention to, obviously use it or eat it or anything. It's just I killed it because it's cool.
Glory.
Yeah.
It's like Elmer Fudd.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes, Elmer Fudd only hunts for sport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but basically his mom also tells him, on top of being like, I loved like just living this like, cool manly life, she's like, well, you also are going to have to hide as this other king's daughter.
Yeah.
But
hang out with the princesses.
But
and Achilles is like, I don't want to do that, until he sees one of the princesses. He's like,
no,
to be near them.
He's a little bit convinced by his mom before they even get off the boat, because
he sees them too.
Well, yeah,
but at the same time, his mom is mentioning Hercules, right?
Yes, yeah, Hercules and Zeus, basically.
Like
they've
right.
both cross-dressed for purposes, so it kind of is cool.
And then he said,
"If the gods do it, you can do it."
Yeah.
He says a little bit later, he's like, "You mean Hercules, or you mean the god of thunder did that?"
Yeah.
And I was thinking Norse,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was like, "Oh wait, is this a Loki thing?"
The Loki thing.
But no.
You of course thought Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he's doing that, and then
So he sees a pretty
Mom
girl, and
is-
it's like, all right, sure.
Yeah.
His mom says, "Just wait, and I'll come back for you."
And then,
And so he's like, "Well, I can put up with it for a while, then, I guess."
Yeah.
yeah,
She does not come back for him.
no.
Well, I think her whole point was just to hide him, right?
Yeah.
Well, because she's waiting for the storm to pass, kind of thing.
Right.
And
yeah.
so that we come to find, yeah.
It's gonna be 10 years.
Mom, I already have roots here.
Yeah.
I already have a family.
Yeah, honestly, actually, it would have been 13 years, because it's 3 years of them gathering up troops and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So yeah, he keeps up the ruse for a little bit, but the
He
woman
does not hide it well.
No.
the king didn't
He
find
falls
out.
in love with one of the
Yeah, and
daughters.
he gets he overthrown with passion, lust, and they have a moment, and she's like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Go away." She's like, "Okay." And then later he leads her into the woods, and
then she gets pregnant.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a Greek
That was
story.
a horrible section for me to read.
Yeah. Those
Sorry to take long. The Greeks
Yeah.
are like this.
It happens so fast.
And then it's 9 months later, and she's having a baby.
Yeah.
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 It's like, this baby's great.
Mhm.
He's like, oh man, this sucks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, I will say that section was so funny, just to talk about it a little bit. Just because it was like, I'm gonna name you, the girl name that you're hiding under, because I can never remember your real name.
Achilles. My name is Achilles.
Yeah.
Also, please don't name it after me.
You're
It's
right.
gonna be really obvious.
I love how she's like, okay, we can name him something else, but his true name will always be.
Yeah. Oh, so funny.
I'm trying to hide a baby.
Also, I didn't.
Maybe don't name it that.
Yeah, true. I was also gonna say later on, I didn't realize that the dad, the king, he didn't know that Achilles was hiding. I guess.
Oh yeah.
Like I thought he was.
Had a new daughter all of a sudden. And
Yeah.
he was fine.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, he has like 100.
Not that many. It's like
Enough to be like one more.
I think he wasn't willing to admit that he doesn't pay attention to like who's who.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like how often is he bringing his daughters in and being like, "And you're so and so, and you're so and so." He's like, "I guess one of them had a growth spurt. Pretend you knew."
I think it was at a point in his life where he was just like, "This is like I don't really care that much. Like I'm like I love like
Kind of was that.
yeah like I love you, right? I love you, but also he wasn't being diligent with like okay
like
I
all
know
his
you.
wives died.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have nursemaids.
He only
and
had daughters.
servants.
He was just kind of settling with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Achilles' mom tries to, move him out of the way of his destiny. And of course, the gods had a different fate in mind for him. And so the war comes knocking at his door. Well, the fake father door. Yeah. And I can't remember their names.
They come looking for Achilles only because of that oracle, though.
Yes. So Priam sends an oracle, or a priest, I guess.
Yeah.
To
that's true. He's not an oracle at that time. Yeah. Sorry.
So he goes to see an oracle, and he doesn't come back home. Yeah. He's like, "Oh, they told me what it is, and now I have to join with you guys, the Achaeans."
They showed me how crazy Troy is gonna get because of Paris.
Yep.
I'm not going back. Mm-hmm. Can I stay with you guys?
Yep. And another person who left their daughter behind.
Yeah. I don't know. That one
you can't bring them along.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Helen is a different, she was all like, nah, I'm not going to see my daughter, and that's fine. But the other guy, he was like, oh, I'm going to miss you. I want to return to you. When he's talking, he's, after he kind of gets...
I'll be right back.
Yeah. He kind of gets in with the Achaeans and is like, hey, I have a daughter in Troy. Could we, maybe work something there? Like, no. But he tries. He gives it the college try.
But so he tells them where to find Achilles, and so they go.
He also says, you can only win the war if you have Achilles.
Yes.
And he tells them also how long the war is going to take. Mm-hmm. Based on the fact of a snake eating a hawk's babies, right?
Yeah, I think it was 9 of them, and then the mother herself
makes 10.
Yeah. And so that's
after 10 years, you'll win.
Yeah.
Man, I'm glad that you guys just repeated that part because I remember reading it now, but it didn't totally click until
that's
you
fair.
said it. Oh yeah,
that's fair. And so they get Achilles. They have to snuff him out because he's still pretty good at hiding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
they see him, and they're like, right. We can't convince him to come with us, even though we talked about how cool war is. Mm-hmm. He was like, oh, I want to go to war so bad.
We have to appeal to his masculine essence, and
well, we already tried that, so we're gonna have to out him to his dad.
Well, I mean, we're gonna do it again. Dad, we're gonna have all of these gifts that girls would like, and then this spear.
Masculine essence. I'm gonna be fair. It's not a masculine essence. It's a bloodlust.
Yeah. It's bloodlust. It's just kind of.
He sees the spear and he's like, "That's so cool, damn it!" And then they say "Oh man, there's some strangers approaching."
Oh yeah, that's
they basically
prepare for a fight, and he's like, "I'm so ready," and immediately rip his skirt comes off.
That panel was so annoying to me because you show his legs and they're ripped. It's what the heck?
So funny. How easy it came apart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They could not keep soldiers' weapons near him.
No.
Yeah. Well, it was also funny because they totally fabricated it all, They were just there's somebody with swords and then clink clink.
Well, they actually had swords.
Yeah, they had actual swords, but it was just their people.
Theater.
And they were just pretending,
He was so ready though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I think even at the end after they've finished it, I think they were all even oh, they're going away now. It's just he didn't.
Oh, because he wanted to fight.
Yeah.
That's funny. But so at this time, they got Odysseus to join them, and so Odysseus is the one who was able to figure out that Achilles was, impersonating.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, Shwenta, you were oh, it was obvious to them, but really it was obvious to Odysseus. The other guy was like, "What?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah."
But
did you notice the girl who is just becoming a strapping young man.
No.
and
really bad at dancing.
Oh yeah, and weaving, I think was the other one.
Well, that was for bonding.
Oh, I
that
see.
was earlier. They didn't watch her weave and be like, sucks.
Oh, that was funny because they were calling her Pyrrha, and I was like, okay, so it's another woman, right? And then it's like, man, there's something weird with your voice. And then, man, you're really bad at weaving or whatever. And I didn't get it.
You to do anything?
Right. Yeah. I didn't get it at first. So I was like, oh, so this is just some random woman. And then at one panel, it looked like a man. And I was like, I'm so confused. What is going on? So yeah, I was very confused because it looked like a man at one point. And I was like, why are you drawing this person this way? And then it was like, oh, it's Achilles. I was like, oh!
Yeah, it gets a little confusing sometimes when they're switching around scenes. It's like, where are we? When?
Right, yeah. Yeah.
So many of the characters are very similar in appearance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I relied on like Paris's robe color.
Oh, yeah. Especially Paris and Priam's children. Well, I mean, Paris being one of them.
All right, we'll get to that when we get to the art.
So yeah, what happens next?
Well, I just want to say, from Achilles' scenes as a princess, we learned that girls do not play harps. That's inappropriate.
Apparently, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Music making is for men only.
Huh.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe girls can sing. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely no theater.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much. They get Achilles. They get another guy comes and is all because the army is hungry because it's been 3 years. They've been getting people together, hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just dudes being dudes.
Just gathering armies upon armies.
Yeah. And they're running out of food, and then a guy comes and he's like, "Hey, I got food. I got whatever you need." And then they're like, "All right, we're set." And then they're pretty much ready. It's the day before they're gonna set sail for Troy and go beat them up. And it comes out that basically part of the oracle or the prophecy that they got was that the best of the Achaeans would have to
start
squabbling, quarrel before the war was won.
What does that mean?
Oh, that's the thing about prophecies. they're hard to understand.
I read that and I was like, that sounds like a statement. Like I miss the oh my gosh, that's horribleness of it. It would be like, in order for you to win the war, metal has to be gray. It's like that's how it read to me.
I mean, they talk about what it could mean. It's either the ways that they feel like they can interpret it now is that either Agamemnon and the other guy, his cousin brother.
Oh, those are two different people.
Well, no, they're the husband of Helen.
Oh, okay, his brother.
Yeah, okay. I thought that they referred to them as cousins at one point.
No, I think that was somebody else.
I'm pretty sure. I think they might have just been calling each other brothers in the broad sense.
Yeah, broad sense. Regardless of their familial connection, either
they are related by blood.
They are related by blood, and they might have to fight each other, or and then,
I missed that.
Yeah,
it might get pretty bad.
Yeah, the other option is that it could be that their men, the best of their men are going to, be petty and jealous and fight amongst themselves, which they don't want either.
And as he says, even if it means they win, they want to win, obviously. Mm-hmm. And if they win, they'll get a bunch of cool trade routes and all that and become pretty rich. But if it means that they're all going to pretty much hate each other and not be united and not have, allies anymore, then, what's
the point?
it's gonna suck.
Huh.
Yeah.
I totally missed that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's
I mean, that could be like Civil War, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Not even Civil War, I guess. Just more war.
Yeah, more war. But yeah, with that, they, the day dawns and they head out, and that's the end of the book, of this volume.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I liked this.
Yeah.
I was a little bit, I looked at the page count, I was like, ooh, I chose this. I could have done 300 by Frank Miller, which is like half the pages.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were going to say 300 pages by Frank Miller.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I could have done more.
Yeah.
No. But I was like, I think that this one's going to be a little bit better, honestly. Like, I've seen some criticisms, and I have my own criticisms of Frank Miller as just a person and artist and writer. But, like, specific criticisms against 300, and I'm like, this one looks kind of cool. And, I liked it. I think that it made a lot of really cool decisions and made the general, like, the Trojan War interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Even the parts that like made you uncomfortable, Talon. I think those stayed pretty true to what the source material would present it as.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's kind of uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that same vein, I think that also, like, there's certain scenes, because, I think part of the uncomfiness, at least for me anyway, in those scenes is also the, it's kind of like, really, it's those scenes, like, but also, like, the whole world, as it stands in this story that, like, there are people, it's commonplace for, women to just be, like, stolen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that is just accepted.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're all like, yeah, just steal your aunt back, and they'll have to respect that.
Yeah.
Game respects game.
Right.
And so, it's like all of that is really like just kind of like, and as we talked about like last book, the the just casual like slavery and stuff like that, it's like, all of this, but the thing is too that makes it almost extra uncomfortable is the people's contentment, like the slaves and the woman that gets stolen. It's like, oh well, this is my life now, I'm here and this is what I'm going to do, and gonna make the best of it. So that's like, that's how it feels with Paris's original girlfriend. And that's how it feels with Helen and with the daughter that Achilles gets pregnant. There's so many names in this book I can't possibly
Diomedes or something like that.
Yeah. But it's just like, they're kind of happy about it, even though it's like very like shaky consent situations where it's like, but that is, it is of a time.
Right.
And like, Paris's dad, it's like, what am I gonna do? Take the son of the king again?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. You could have just not said anything.
Well,
yeah,
he
but
would have probably died otherwise.
Yeah. Then the princes would have killed their brother.
And then, but also since he was seen as a commoner then, it'd been fine.
Right.
The princes.
Yeah, it's true.
Really
and
is, different.
There is multiple instances where it's all like, usually it's like, oh, the path of fate is like, you can only walk this one path. And in some ways it's like, well, the way things went are the ways that things went, and therefore, yes. But also it's like, man, it seems like fate gave you so many outs. Like just like Paris dying, then bam, no Trojan War. And then it's all like, don't send him on the mission. You got oracles from Cassandra, and then you got oracles from her brother. That also apparently gets
it's
visions
crazy
sometimes.
How the entire story is very good at being a tragedy, in that as the audience, we know that they're doing the dumbest thing.
Yeah.
The moment Paris attacks the king's men for trying to take the bull from his like little farm. Is the moment I was like, this man is gonna fail at life.
Yeah.
I was like, he's not gonna suddenly make a good decision.
No. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Very much fated to be dumb.
Taken for passion. He's a very passionate man. You could probably say that.
He's only like 16 when we meet him.
I mean, yeah, he's a man by that point.
That's what, yeah,
in that time probably.
Yeah, in that time, but also
that's another thing where like this is set in semi-ancient times.
Yeah.
The fact that they're like, it's gonna take 10 years to win the war. That's a longer time to them than to us.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You die way easier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and also on top of that, like, 10 years is a long time just for anybody, and Odysseus just had a son, you know?
Yeah. and then he knows he's gonna be lost for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, the prophecy literally says that.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going. So when we first see Odysseus, he's raving lunatic, and he's like, "Yes, this is a power play."
He's pretending to be a raving lunatic because his fear of having to go off to the war and fulfill the prophecy, not seeing his family for 30 years or something, has made him a little crazy, and so he hopes that being extremely crazy will get him out of having to go.
But you gotta love one of those guys who's like, I see through this. This guy is faking it.
Get the baby.
Get the baby. Oh no, that was horrible. He put the baby in front of the, I don't know what you call it, like the plow or something. Yeah. And then Odysseus, being a semi-good dad at least, was like, wait, hold up.
Yeah, I'm not going to trample my own son. My only son.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rough.
It's good, though. It's good in the way of like, man, this is just a tragedy that will continue to unfold.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
Even them going after Helen, I'm like, man, I don't care about her. But they do. They, even Priam kind of knows it's just a pretext. We really want to destroy Troy and get all the, trade route for ourselves.
They want to destroy it. Well, Priam is the king of Troy.
Yeah, I said Priam knows that. He knows that this would be a pretext.
Oh, for them.
Yeah.
For them to be like, we want Helen back.
Oh, I see.
Let's destroy Troy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the dude over here was like, oh yeah, I mean, I can't help you. I've never seen her. I've never seen him. Even if I would, you know, ain't my problem.
Yeah, that is, like, I wonder if later volumes will catch back up with Paris and Helen. Because I'm like, they didn't return back to Troy. Like, where the heck are they?
Mm-hmm.
I think, they mentioned, like, where they might be hiding or something. Or at least Helen is hiding.
Oh, yeah.
But, I was just like, man.
Yeah. Man.
Wait a sec.
Helen's brothers. That's a shame. They got washed out at sea.
Thanks to Achilles' mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunate. Wait, also, she was trying to use that against Paris, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Too late.
That's rough.
Yeah. Gosh.
And it was like, it was funny because Helen was like, yeah, it's good for this storm, which was meant to be used against them. Helen was like, oh yeah, this storm is pretty bad, not for us, but for anybody else in those for anyone in those waters. Mm-hmm. And then immediately,
and they promised Hermione that they're gonna
get
him off.
Oh, I didn't think about that. I kind of forgot.
Yeah. Thank goodness they did not bring her along.
Yeah.
No, that was the one.
Child.
Yeah. I was gonna say that, like, if there's something that I didn't really like about it, it's that I felt like it switched between, like, having, like, good, like, fun character moments to like, this is kind of boring politics talk that I just like, or like rehashing, you know, somebody telling, you know, somebody else like, this is what happened. Yeah.
I do feel like certain plot points got like brought up again and again, which is, that is exactly what the stories are like.
Yes. Yeah.
Just in case you were wondering, audience, the last time.
Yeah.
These do the source material for this ultimately is something that's from the oral tradition. So it's like, yeah, you're probably gonna have people coming back, you know, like, okay, that's enough story for now. We'll pick up next time. And also on top of that, people might come in the middle of the story. They might just walk up and be like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
So just gotta throw some of those in there implicitly, you know,
right.
Like yeah.
I think the art was pretty good. I mean, it's very good. It's very detailed. It's very consistent. We did, you know, like we mentioned, same face kind of problem.
Yeah.
Of like, man, everybody's got the same hairstyle, the same face.
Yeah.
Even I think that really comes into play when it comes to Helen for me.
Yeah, she just looks like
all the other ladies.
Yeah.
Because they're all pretty.
Now see,
they're all kind of generically the same.
Right. It's like Helen isn't even distinct. They show her off and she's like the sun. But
like, yeah, she gets a nice little ray of sunshine to make you go, wow, and maybe there's a sparkle or two. But I really feel like that could have been more impactful. Because now I'm just like, man, Paris is just being dumb, which he is.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't even get...
He left his girlfriend behind.
Yeah, you don't get to be all like, oh, that is the most beautiful woman in the world.
That people are just fighting over.
Yeah. Oh, so like that was part of the comic too, was like why all like Agamemnon is gathering this entire army based off of a pact that a bunch of these kings made like 12 years before.
Yeah.
When they were trying to court Helen. Wow. Yeah. And so they were all like, well, it was a little confusing. It's like, whoever gets her, if anyone else retaliates, we promise to retaliate against them.
Yeah, so, which also they even admit it kind of doesn't apply to this.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's close enough.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there is... I'm reading a little bit of cynicism, you know, that it's like all just like politically motivated. But I think that there is a good portion of them that are worried about breaking their oath and that having implications.
Yeah, because the gods will retaliate.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You're nothing without your, you know, integrity.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean,
can't fault them for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that there is both sides, though. You know, they're all like, it doesn't really count, but it could be good to go to war, you know? And then there's also like, but also we do have this oath, and it does kind of count, so like, we should err on the side of caution here.
Well, yeah, you know, when they were recruiting, they would go to them and be like, you remember your oath? And he's like, I guess I gotta do my oath. They're like, do you remember how awesome war is? And they're like, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I want to feel young again.
Which, honestly, to me, like, makes sense. It's like, I can see
as
that.
we've established today, you're pretty bloodthirsty, so of course it would make sense to you.
No, I just understand how men think. Because I am one.
All the time.
Did I think about rum this week?
Yeah, did you?
Cody, have you been thinking about war too much?
No. Not in a positive way, at least.
Yeah, that's true.
I've been thinking about it negatively. If that counts.
But think about it. It's like something to like, you know, here you are kind of just like living the comfortable life, and then here's something that like happens.
Ooh,
it's like,
I love being uncomfortable.
Or you love being
No, I was making a joke.
Okay.
I'm living a comfortable life. Let me stop that.
Fair enough. But then here's something that comes along that's like, I can be a part of something. I can join
I see what you're saying.
All this,
yeah.
Cody, I see what you're saying, Cody. They're having too good of a life, and they're getting kind of dumb, too complacent.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what Talon was saying. That's not really what I was saying.
Well, Talon's putting a positive spin on it.
Okay, yeah.
Well, yeah.
He's like, yeah, they should go to war. It would be really cool. Versus, like, they're like, man, everything's great. I remember the good parts of war, and they go to war, and they're like, I hate starving.
Yeah.
I hate almost dying.
This sucks.
Right. Well, I mean,
I forgot how much this sucks.
Yeah.
War is awful. But the like anticipation of it is like,
Yeah.
And that gets them into trouble where they're like, oh wait, this is actually terrible.
Right.
To be fair, they're probably, kind of have short lives.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, the Greeks, they were able to live fairly long given ancient times. Yeah, depending on when, in their fairly large history.
Right.
But yeah, they had pretty good mortality rates. But yeah.
We were talking about the art. Oh my god.
Yeah, yes. The art. I enjoyed the art, and also not that I disagree about some same faciness, but I think that with the amount of characters, even unnamed characters where they're just like, background people, there's a lot of work given to differentiating and making.
I think there is a desire to differentiate them costume wise, and like I said, I was able to tell who Paris was based on his robe color, but I still think the faces are kind of the same, and that's not it's just really hard, like you said, with such a big cast.
Yeah. I think that it's more so when you see people that are from the same place. They have the most same faces, but when you get people interacting from different parts of Greece, it's like, oh, they look significantly different. Different hairstyles, different skin shades, different face bone structure.
You take Agamemnon, compare him with the priest from
Troy.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, they're very different.
Yeah. And Chiron, he looks different, and even Achilles looks super different from his nymph mom. Yeah. But also, there are lots of scenes with people from the same place, and it's like, ooh, who, what?
Yeah.
You're talking about how often they switch over to a totally different area, and you're not quite sure who's who yet. But, that's the thing. The story does a really good job at kind of keeping it all the same. Like, even though I didn't pay attention to any names, it's like, oh, obviously this is so-and-so again. Because they're discussing this.
Yeah.
It was really good at keeping you going with the story.
Yeah. Also, I really liked, one, that there's, a pretty good use of, camera, basically, using different angles to convey and just have interesting panel shots.
Oh my gosh, my favorite shot is the one where they ask him where Achilles is. Do you remember that?
Yes, asking the Oracle where he is.
Oracle.
Yeah, priest Oracle guy.
Where he looks out at the bay and it becomes a flame.
Yes, okay.
That's fair.
That was pretty cool. Yeah. And then also I'm looking at the Achilles time on the mountain with Chiron, and he's in silhouette with the jungle cat and the spear, and it's he's silhouetted and it just looks cool. The environmental stuff of the storm, and just the way that he shades is really cool.
I think I don't love the way he shades.
No?
It's a lot of work that goes into it, and it's really well done in the sense that it makes sense, but it's so much. It's so much detail constantly. I kind of feel it doesn't feel cohesive sometimes in a panel. Like, they have the one scene where I think when the priest is about to leave and he tells his daughter he's going to leave and she's in like a dark room and it's just a ton of lines instead of like, but you know, like Shadow is not going to be a ton of lines that are parallel to each other. Hatching style. I don't know. Sometimes it was too consistent. Weird to say.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, my feelings on the art are just kind of consistent as well. It's like, oh, it's all right.
Yeah. Nothing
sticks out to me as like particularly good or particularly bad.
Okay.
Oh, here. Let me see. Like maybe a Shadow. So if you look closely at the characters so you know it's using like spot blacks, but then also there's like the parts where they're standing, you know, with their backs to the sun and their faces just have like the parallel lines down it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know how effective that is.
I will say that's not my favorite in that specific context.
Yeah. I don't even know like what that would be. What is that trying to show?
It's trying to
showing
show
that they're in shadow.
Yeah, in shadow. Without diluting their color too much.
Gotcha.
Which could probably just do darker colors. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Look at this one too.
Yeah, this one where there's the cross hatching on the inside of the, like, to show that it's a shadowy room.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just looks kind of messy.
Yeah,
I can see that.
I don't know.
I can see what you mean.
Yeah.
But it didn't bother you guys as you were reading it. So.
No. Yeah.
I just kept going, man, he's doing so much work, and I don't think it's worth it.
That's why this is taking so long.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't have to do all those lines.
Yeah, I also, the other thing that I wanted to mention about the art is that I liked the scene of Priam talking about
oh my god, that was my favorite.
the story
when it becomes a little bit more cartoony for the scene of him recounting his sisters you know, being stolen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
He's so pretty in that scene, and he's so silly and wimpy looking because he's a little kid still, technically.
Yeah.
that was the only time I've ever seen a art transition like that where I was like, oh, I'm actually amused.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was very cute.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
And it seemed like kind of like, it works on a lot of levels of like, he's recounting the story from his memory as a child, you know, and then also on top of that, it's like it has to do with Heracles, which, you know, Hercules for the Western audience.
Yep.
And so, you know, so it's a little bit more like mythological, even though it is his actual history, you know. But, so I liked that, how it worked on those levels, and it's just fun.
I mean, you got to think about Heracles walking on Earth. How old are you? Where are we? Or when are we?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing, you know. They're talking about like, he died recently, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, and now people worship him as a god.
Mm-hmm.
So that was also an interesting kind of aspect of the story as a whole too. Just like, you know, very matter of fact about like, you know, kind of mythological stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was interesting that the writer didn't want to include a lot of that like mystical or not supernatural, but like mystical elements in these stories. Like he opted for more like bringing the human element in it, which was an interesting choice to me. Yeah,
I think it's really refreshing in some ways, even. But overall, I think that this book did a pretty good job. Maybe eventually I would want to read more of it. It's like, it's one of those things, you know, and I kind of felt this way, I think, about thinking back to my last pick, Hip Hop Family Tree. I'm like, this was kind of cool, but also I'll probably take a break for a little while, but maybe I'll pick it back up sometime.
Say this one was a lot easier to follow.
Yeah, for sure.
Then Hip Hop Family Tree.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a lot more like small moments and scenes.
Yeah.
I guess I can see what you mean.
Yeah, this was more of a story. That was a little bit more of a like recap constantly. Yeah.
Oh, fair.
But all right. I think that's all that we have time for this show. Thank you for listening. This has been the Comic Panel. I'm Cody.
I'm Taylon.
And I'm Shawenta.
And we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening. If you like this episode, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on Apple Music, Spotify, or Podbean. You can support this podcast by sharing it with anyone you know and by rating and reviewing our podcast. You can also reach out to us with any thoughts you have on the things we talk about on Twitter at TheComicPanel1 and on Instagram and Facebook at TheComicPanel. We appreciate your feedback and look forward to sharing many more comic thoughts with you. Have a blessed day.